Good evening. This meeting will come to order. This is the August 2021 Zoning Board of Appeals. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Soda, Mr. Hirsch, and Ms. Valcott have excused themselves. Mr. Wolf.
Here.
Mr. Casey.
Here.
Mr. Dubois.
Here.
Ms. Ferrante.
Here.
And Chairman Chizola.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, also present this evening are Stephen Harris, our zoning officer, Meg Green, our recording secretary. Let's see here. We're missing a couple of regular members this evening, so our alternates will fill in for them. Mr. Dubois, will you fill in for Ms. Valcott, please?
Yes.
And Mr. Casey, will you fill in for William Soda, please?
Yes.
Okay. If you feel there's someone on this board that might be a conflict of interest to your hearing, please let us know. Other than that, I believe we're ready to go. Secretary.
Item number 1, 10 to 12, Dorena Place, MBP 54/321/12, MCDD. Mark Hoffman, owner, vary section 3.21.4.2B, side yard setback to 2.8 feet, where 4 feet required to construct a first floor addition.
Please come forward.
Take my mask off? Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Good. What do you want me to say? This is new to me, so.
Well, a short description of what you're planning to do.
Okay.
You can mention the variances that you're asking for, and pretty much just put in your own words,
Okay.
Okay, it's simple, pretty easy.
Okay, well, I'll try to keep it that way. I did put a memo together, and I posted it with the material online, along with the plot plan from the surveyor, a architectural drawing, a couple photos, just so that it would be clear what's going on. We live just up the street on Dorena Place, so what we are proposing to do is to extend a small piece in the back of the property. The house was built in 1920. Zoning laws, I believe, went into place in 1930, if I'm not mistaken, and the house was already out of compliance. The foundation is 2.8 feet from the existing property line, except for a little chunk in the back. The upstairs, which is the second story, already has an overhang, which basically is at that length. All we're asking to do is to extend about 6 feet to the back of the house and then wrap around to be able to expand the bedroom, which is at the back of the house, to be the full width of the bedroom as it exists now. Without the variance, we have basically two options. One would be to leave a jog in there of about 1.5 feet into the bedroom and then extend it back, which we would prefer not to do. It's a one-bedroom apartment in a two-family house, and would make the room much more difficult to work with. The other option that I'm aware of would be to go out to 0 setback, which is available under the zoning laws, and then build out to the property line, which seems unnecessarily complicated and offensive to add extra cost. So that's basically the variance that we're asking for. So I'll be glad to answer any questions if I wasn't clear enough.
Any questions for this gentleman? Mr. Wolf?
So you're just infilling this small jog
Yeah.
existing? Okay.
The upstairs, the second story, already has a bedroom. We used to live upstairs, and then we moved downstairs, and I won't get into the details of why. But the upstairs bedroom is 12 by 15 and extends all the way to the back of the house, including the overhang, which is already at the 2.8 feet. All we're asking to do is to allow the area under the overhang to be built out so that we extend the lower bedroom, the first floor bedroom, to the same dimensions.
Currently, both units occupied?
Are what?
Occupied? Living?
Yes. We live in the first floor apartment, and my daughter, my son-in-law, and my grandson live upstairs.
Very good. Thank you. No questions.
Any other questions? Is there anyone else speaking in favor of this application? If you, please come forward.
Hello, my name is Diana Nitko. My husband and I own the property directly across the street from the Hoffmans. We own 57 Dorena Place. They are wonderful neighbors, and we are totally in favor of your approving his expansion.
Thank you. Anyone else speaking in favor? Mr. Lynch?
Yes, just for the record, Thomas Lynch. My home address is 8 Maple Street, and I want to let the board know that Mr. Hoffman was my freshman year algebra teacher at Notre Dame High School. I'm not going to tell you what year that was. And I also went to St. Mary's Grammar School with Mrs. Hoffman's brother. I've known the family for years. They're wonderful people, and I would strongly support this application. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else speaking in favor? Any other questions right now for Mr. Hoffman? Is there anyone here opposed? Anyone here opposed? Okay, this hearing is closed. We're all set, Mr. Hoffman. We're just going to discuss this, and
Thank you for your time. We appreciate
you'll know
it.
right now.
It's embarrassed me immensely.
Okay, so your thoughts? It's a very small variance, so we need a motion. Who wants to make a motion?
Motion to approve based upon the existing hardship of the lot.
Second.
We have a motion to approve, and we have a second on the motion. Mr. Wolf?
With the motion.
Ms. Ferranti?
With the motion.
Mr. Dubois?
With the motion.
Mr. Casey?
With the motion.
I'm with the motion as approved.
Item number 2, 1201 Boston Post Road, MBP 89/812/40AA. SCD Ken Sturba, agent for Centennial Collection. Owner, vary section 5.3.3.32 for 2 temporary signs, 6 feet by 30 feet, front-facing and rear-facing, for 90 days from August 1st, 2021 to November 1st, 2021.
Hi, good evening. Emery Davis from Spirit Halloween, we're the retailer.
Please just pull the microphone closer to you.
Is that better?
That is. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Again, the motion is just, I guess, the laws prior to them all being
Mary Ann,
built.
can you please identify yourself and your address?
I did. Emery Davis with Spirit Halloween. I live at 70 Mount Pleasant Street, Derby, Connecticut. We were informed that the mall, when it was built, there was no ordinance that would allow this temporary signage. So I applied for the variance based upon, we actually will be in business less than 90 days now. So the signs would cover the Sears side of the building, front-facing the Boston Post Road, rear-facing the private road. For that matter of time, they are vinyl banners. I have submitted to the board the how they are applied to the building, how they're grommeted in, and they, as I said, they would be up less than 90 days now because once the variance is voted on, we would have to wait the time period or apply for a waiver to put them up, but hoping to be in business from September 1st to November 3rd.
Okay, thank you. Questions?
So these are going right on the building, they're not freestanding?
They are not freestanding. They are vinyl banners that are grommeted into the face of the building. Upon taking them down, we do fill in the facing of the building with whatever, I think in this case it would be concrete, or sometimes silicone is used depending. And they're not lit or anything, it's just a orange vinyl banner. They are smaller than the existing signs that were there from Sears that were taken down. So basically, that's where they're going to be put, just to cover that outline of where Sears was.
Any questions? Is there anyone else speaking in favor? Anyone here opposed to this application? Okay, this hearing's closed. Simple, easy one. Motion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sign going on a building that's no more intrusive than the sign that was there before. It's not freestanding. It's not any more in your face. I have no problem with this.
Agreed. Do we motion based on, there's no, what would a motion be? Based upon?
Pretty much, I mean, they're applying for a temporary license for the display, so that's the gist of it, really.
Motion to approve based upon the need for temporary 90-day signage maximum.
Second.
We have a motion, and we have a second on the motion. Mr. Wolf,
With the motion?
Ms. Ferranti,
With the motion.
Mr. Dubois,
With the motion?
Mr. Casey.
With the motion.
I'm with the motion, it's approved.
Good luck.
Item number 3, 28 Bayshore Drive, MBP 29/585/4R5. Thomas Lynch, Esquire, attorney for John and Lisa Lombard, owners. Vary section 3.1.4.1, east side yard setback to 4.34 feet where 10 feet required. Section 4.1.4, west eave projection to 3.5 where 4 feet permitted. East eave projection to 2.84 where 8 feet permitted. East deck projection to 4.34 where 8 feet permitted, to build a single-family residence.
Sure. Yes. And this, beautiful.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Mr. Lynch.
We're all set? Thank you. Mr. Chairman, just for the record, my name is Thomas Lynch, and I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lynch, Trimbicki, and Boynton, and my office is located here in Milford at 63 Cherry Street. And I have the pleasure tonight of appearing before you with John and Lisa Lombard and their 2 children. John and Lisa are the owners of the property at 28 Bayshore Drive. They've owned this property since 1997. And we're before you tonight with applications to vary the side yard setback and projections to allow the construction of a new 4,400 square foot residence on this site, raising the existing dwelling and building a beautiful new home that Jim Deno has designed. We have a rendering of the exterior from the streetscape to present to you as part of our package tonight. The house is absolutely beautiful, and Jim has done a wonderful job with it. And I've also handed out to you floor plans and elevations of the house. I'm going to step aside in a few minutes and let Jim go through the floor plan and some of the design features of the house. But I wanted to touch at the outset on the background of the property and the existence of nonconformities right now, which will be eliminated, and actually that's the basis of our claim for a hardship in presenting the application to you tonight. So the existing house that's on site was constructed approximately 1980. It consists of some 2,200 square feet with 3 bedrooms. It has a detached garage currently that is not conforming in terms of the setbacks. The entire property is going to be redeveloped, and the survey that we've submitted with the plans shows the existing conditions and the proposed residence. And the point that I want to stress right from the outset is that the existing house is non-conforming, and with this application, we are now going to have, actually the setbacks on each side are non-conforming, and with this application, the south side or the westerly side setback is going to be met with the requirement in the R5 zone of 5 feet. And on the north side of the property, that necessitates the application for varying the side yard setback on that side from the 10 feet that are required to 4.34. But it's noteworthy, if you look at the zoning legend as part of the survey that we submitted with the application, the existing side yard setback on that side is 3.96 feet. So in essence, the house is going to be moved some 6 inches further away from the Delito residence boundary line on the north side of the property. So by placing the house as we have done so, it creates a conforming setback on one side, which doesn't exist now, and it reduces the nonconformity on the other side. And Connecticut case law provides that that's the basis of a claim for a variance. It's the basis for us to say that if we've reduced nonconformities, creates a situation that actually improves the property, improves the setbacks, and can certainly be a claim for this board granting the variances. So in essence, based on the setbacks, we are building the house pretty much on line with the current setbacks as they exist now, except that we're moving the house a little further to the north to create the conforming side yard on the south side and still have the necessity for the variance request on the north side. The proposed house that Jim's going to be going through with you, as I said, is some 4,400 square feet. It's going to be built 3 levels. The existing house does not meet the flood elevation requirements in that zone, so the new house obviously will be built to the flood elevations. We will have to appear before the Planning and Zoning Board and submit an application for coastal area site plan review, so that there's another step to this process. But the first step is to get the variances from this board so that we can then move on to the Planning and Zoning Board. Another basis of our claim, in addition to reducing nonconformities, is that a hardship exists because this is a 40-foot lot in this zone, which is non-conforming, so that we have a situation here where we're dealing with a narrow lot, and to rebuild the house to the standards that we've set forth on the survey and the floor plans, it necessitates the application for that variance. The other requests are for the projections, and with the decking and the patio on the side. Again, these are requests that are pretty common in terms of the rebuilding of homes in the R5 zone, such as East Broadway or Hillside Avenue or Melba Street and Bayshore, so that this house really is going to conform in size and in nature with the other houses that are in close proximity to it. I assume that you all took a drive down Bayshore Drive and Melba Street. I've represented numerous clients along that stretch who have received variances after Sandy and Irene to rebuild because their existing homes, similar to the Lombard's home, were not conforming when they were built. So to rebuild on the lot, it necessitates the request for the variance. So I can make some concluding comments at the end, but at this point, I'm going to turn things over to Jim just to have him give you a brief overview of the floor plan, let you see, the layout of the house and the elevations, and then if there's any questions at the end that any of the board members have, we can entertain.
We have a
I
question.
just have a quick question because you were reviewing some numbers, so while you're still here. The east side currently is at 3 and change, and you want to move that to 4.34?
That's correct.
And the west side, not the projection, but the west side setback will be conforming at 5 feet. But where does the west side stand currently?
The existing condition is 4.66.
And that's moving to 5?
Right now, the current house has a setback of 3.96 on the east side, or the northeast side.
And the west side?
And the Charles Island side, going towards Bayview Beach, that side right now is 4.66. We are going to have that setback at 5 feet, so it will be conforming.
So both sides were under 5 feet currently as it stands?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, Jim? Huh? I've got it. That's okay.
Hi, Jim Deno, 93 Sunnyside Court from Jim Deno Designs LLC. I'll walk you through it. As you see we're taking the garage that's there now, redoing it, moving it about another 4 feet closer. Let me just show you. So I'm moving that garage there. Now, if you notice on the rendering, there's a little archway on the right-hand side of the garage, and I've swept the roof down. That's for cover, to keep you covered in the weather. It goes all the way through to the beach. The bottom half of the house the main house is 30 feet. That's what we're maintaining. But the bottom half comes in another 6 to 6.5 feet. That's a walkway. So I'm losing the walkway that's there now, that's along the property line, and I'm moving everything in another 6 feet on the base. So if you look on your side elevation, that would be, I think that's the west there. It's the west elevation. There is a walkway that goes all the way to the beach. Okay, and then our front entry, you could see right at the end of the garage, right at the end of that walkway, or the archways that is, and that's our entry to the foyer area. So we're connecting the garage and the building, the main house, with a foyer and a basic stairway, and then we're putting a room above the garage as well, and we go into the main room, which is the same square footage as what's there now, to make a great room, kitchen, eating area, and then we have our deck that we're adding on. You could see actually what we're doing there with the two site plans. That's basically it. Down below, what you see there with the windows in the lower level, those were all breakaway walls. We have to maintain that by FEMA. It will be a pier construction. Other than that, do you have any questions?
Mr. Wolf?
Beautiful job. Looks great. Just curiosity, helical coils?
Pardon me?
For the foundation? Or is it coil? You said pier?
What we do is we do a pier construction, and then below that goes down 5 feet, and then underneath is helical coils,
okay.
which helps with the rigidity of the building.
Yeah.
Right.
And then west elevation, we have an exterior stair coming down from the second floor. What's behind that, or what are you leaving?
What's behind that is everything is open underneath, totally open, and that's just like a screen. It's a breakaway wall.
Okay, so when you're coming in, driving into the garage, you come in and enter into the house within the two-car garage?
There's actually another garage door on the other end. If you look, well, you don't have the base
On the beach
footing
side?
plan. There's another garage door that you can enter into that area. In fact, you can get into that area both sides. Both sides, meaning from the beach area as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? No other questions? Okay. Is there anyone else here speaking in favor? Yes.
I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to conclude, John and Lisa have been in this neighborhood for over 23 years. They know the neighbors. They've spoken to the neighbors. I can represent to the board that Gina Badalamenti, who is the owner of the property at 20 Bayshore Drive, met with John and Lisa today and didn't want to come down here, but she did tell them that we could represent to the board that she had no objection. And the most affected neighbor, for lack of a better term, Frank DeLito Jr., the property owner at 24 Bayshore Drive, adjacent to the residence and actually the side of the house where the variance for the side yard setback is requested. Mr. DeLito sent me a letter that I'm going to present to you for the file. It's dated today to the Milford Zoning Board of Appeals from Frank M. DeLito III, owner of 24 Bayshore Drive, Milford. We have reviewed the plans prepared for John and Lisa Lombard for the new residence to be constructed at 28 Bayshore Drive, and we have no objection to the variances requested in this application before the board tonight. So I'd like to submit that for the file. And that concludes our presentation.
All right, so there's no one else speaking, one additional people speaking in favor. I have to ask this, we can look around the room, but is there anyone here opposed? Okay,
I
there's
actually have to know for the record, there was an email in opposition received this afternoon.
Who's that from?
Fred Bialka. Yes.
Okay. All right, we have one letter in opposition.
I was going to ask if that could be read because Fred is Gina Badalamenti's husband. So maybe he had a concern that...
Yeah, I wondered.
Okay.
Gina is a signator on this as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Fred is a colleague, and I received, I don't know what the timestamp is on that, Sarah?
3:35
Right.
PM today. Hello, Meg, regarding agenda item number 3. I'm not going to read all the variance requests. The area is a high-density neighborhood, and I have serious concerns that the proposed setbacks create major safety issues to neighboring homes if fire were to occur. Therefore, I ask that this proposed variance be denied. I just received notice about this variance request on Saturday, August 7th, 2021, and I will not be attending tonight's meeting due to COVID concerns. Signed, Fred Bialka and Gina Badalamenti, 20 Bayshore Drive.
And if I can just supplement my compliments, and if the board wants to hear from Lisa
Mr. Lynch, can you
Lombard,
pick up your microphone just a little?
if I can just supplement my comment, Lisa spoke to Gina at 5:30 tonight and told her that I think they addressed whatever concerns that they had about the fire materials or the materials that were going to be used for the construction of the house. So I just leave it at 5:30, she was fine, so for whatever it's worth.
No, this one was at 3:35. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We're all set then, no further comments? Any questions for Mr. Lynch? No? Okay. This hearing's closed. Okay, your thoughts?
It's very similar to prior approvals that we've had in the area. I think they've done adequate due diligence with what I'm seeing here. The risk of fire egress exists in hundreds of areas, so I qualify that email. And then if they've spoken subsequent to it, I don't see that having any effect on our decision.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much water the fire argument holds, but the fact is it's a very large house, and we do get opposition to those developments in these sorts of neighborhoods. But compared to how it's currently existing, the bulk of the increased square footage is going front to back on the lot, and we're not here for variances in those directions. The currently existing house is already non-conforming. Based on the numbers that Attorney Lynch provided, this does decrease the nonconformity. The only change would be the projection rather than the actual house in the setback, but I think that, in my opinion, this particular projection variance is minimal. So, you know, it's an improvement on what's existing in terms of east and west on the lot line.
I agree with the way that they set up the driveway and attaching a garage like this. It's a significant improvement. You have parking directly across the street, parking within the garage. That's the big problem here. They improved this. I think any house should be in this format, with the front of the garage door set back as far as possible from the road. I like it. I'm good with this.
Because of the slight change in the nonconformity, that's the really, even though it is a larger size, that's the only reason that I have to be in favor of this. We need a motion.
Motion to approve based upon the existing lot size and the improvement in the nonconformity.
Second.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second on the motion. Mr. Wolf?
I'm with the motion.
Ms. Ferranti?
With the motion.
Mr. Dubois?
With the motion.
Mr. Casey?
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. It's approved. You're welcome. Okay, moving on. New business, any new business? No, none. Any old business? Staff update? We all looked at our minutes from July 13th. Any additions, corrections? Mr. Harris, no? No, okay. Applications for next month? None? No?
I've got one, an early
you?
one, but
Okay.
yeah.
The only thing I can say is we'll see what next month brings for our live meeting if hopefully all the world conditions will get better so that
When do we have to make a decision on whether that's going to be?
Mr. Chairman, I will
Yes.
say one thing. If you want to continue to have in-person meetings, then staff needs to be apprised of that before we have to advertise.
Okay.
When's that?
It's generally about 2.5, 3 weeks before the meeting.
All right, so we're going to keep a close eye on this for next month and see how we proceed.
Great.
Hopefully we can have a live meeting, but if we're going to sit here with masks on and listen to people with masks, it's, you know,
That's what's
It's
coming down.
this kind of-
That's what's going to happen.
it's a hard enough time hearing people lots of times without.
You're
being-
not going to
being
go from
muffled,
August
so.
to September and not
So-
mask up.
Right.
Everyone's just going inside.
So we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.